Welcome to another episode of Sub-Auteurs. We are your hosts. I'm Misha.
Hi, Mai.
I'm still
And I'm
not used to
Anjo.
that.
I'm still so not
I'm
used to
still
that.
not used to that. It's like,
Ulul nyo.
it's like this whole other
No,
person that we're co-hosting with.
It's different. It's different when we're recording.
Yeah,
you know?
but when the record button isn't on, you're always like, Mai.
yeah,
Like, the year before was a lie.
Yes, it was.
it's there's like this mental state of mind that Misha and I both have that you're MJ when we record, and it's like
Hassle, no? Just like when you're used to it.
yeah. I had to get used to it before we started recording. Now I have to get used to calling you Mai.
I don't know. Maybe we can ask Antoinette if we have the budget, like to go back and dub every single instance of MJ into Mai now, just to make life easier and consistent. Yeah, well, we can do that after. First up, we're going to be talking about the first big superhero show of 2022. I cannot believe it's 2022. If you haven't seen our best and worst and meh of 2021, please check out our previous episode. Today, we are talking about our first big superhero entry for the year, and it is not, for the first time in a long time, an MCU entry.
Yay! Do you really want it? Do you really want it?
And cue the music.
Do you really want it? Okay.
Wrong song.
No. Our theme song. We don't have the rights to that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so how are you guys?
Do you really? Sorry.
Are we still on that?
I can't. It's
She
it's so
still
catchy. It's so goddamn catchy.
Okay.
I swear to God.
This is the one show that I watch the OBB every single time. I normally skip it. Skip it.
Yep. So what are we talking about?
Okay, today we are going to be talking about Peacemaker, the new spin-off TV show starring John Cena, based on his character that was introduced in last year's The Suicide Squad. You can hear our episode. It's also up on our Spotify channel.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna shamelessly plug the shit out of it. We talked about The Suicide Squad. We had so much fun with that. Check it out when you guys have a chance. Okay, so apparently, when James Gunn was finishing up work on The Suicide Squad, he'd already written down an outline for the first season of what became the Peacemaker TV show, brought to us by our friends at Warner Brothers TV, who gave us an early look. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Warner Brothers.
We got this just after Christmas. We weren't allowed to talk about it, but the show is coming out this week, so now we can finally dive into the insanity that is Peacemaker. What did you guys think?
Well, it has everything I loved about Suicide Squad, maybe except for Idris Elba. But,
Priorities?
But it is like the perfect follow-up. It has the same edgy humor, same wit and charm, and, John Cena just doing his thing, going crazy, and I absolutely loved it. I was cackling within the first few seconds and probably all throughout the episodes that we were able to see.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I totally agree with that. Like, I think, in my opinion, it was more of like, it was still as outrageous as the Suicide Squad was, but more grounded in a way.
Yeah.
It's a really great, it's a really great character study of Peacemaker and how fucked up he really is.
It's so weird that you said character study, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it does.
When you watch the Suicide Squad, they're all these crazy heightened cartoon characters that could never exist in the real world. But now, when you see this crazy, hyper-violent lover of peace like John Cena, who is played by John Cena, going back to his childhood roots, and you see that he's still walking around his small town in that stupid red and white outfit, and the things that he gets up to, it makes it look even more ridiculous. And I'm glad that he was up to the challenge of showing that.
Yeah.
Dude, he was going to press conferences and all these promotional meetings in his full costume during the Suicide Squad. You know that he was really up for the challenge. I think he loved that suit so much.
Yeah. And if in the Suicide Squad you felt that he was already absolutely perfect for the role, after seeing Peacemaker, you're like, there is is absolutely nobody on this planet who could play it the same way he did.
He has amazing comic timing.
Super. I'm not sure if that's the training he had as a wrestler because he was great at ad lib.
Yeah, and the commitment. I think it's just like the 100% the commitment to the character. And
Yeah.
it seems
Totally.
it seems like John Cena, it's not that he takes the role so seriously, but it's more of he just really embodies it so perfectly that you cannot actually separate the two anymore. It's just that perfection.
He's
Perfection.
He's this really violent, misguided sweetheart pining for acceptance.
I know.
It's just such an odd collection of words to describe Peacemaker.
Yeah, sure. And apparently he stopped maturing around 1988, but there's reasons for that.
Oh my God.
Okay. So for those of you guys who are thinking of checking out the show,
Do it.
It picks up. It's going to be on HBO Go, HBO Max, the rest of the world. And it's got Peacemaker picking up where we left off at the end of the Suicide Squad, where he'd been shot, a building had fallen on him, and we catch up with him in the hospital where he's being recruited for another dangerous mission with another, let's call them the Suicide Squad Light.
We have Mai laughing. Can you explain to us why you're
Please share with the class.
She's laughing so much? I wonder what she thought about.
Because it had me at the first few seconds, literally the first few seconds when he's at the hospital and he's being shown his x-ray by the doctor saying, oh, you're really lucky because all this shit happened to you, but you only got this injury, and showing him an x-ray. And he goes, Doc, can you please up the contrast so I can see my muscles? Of course, he delivers it better. Just watch it. I swear. First line pa lang, parang putang ina.
The thing is, we can say any of his lines and people would still be laughing their asses off if they actually watch John Cena do it. Because it's just, iba talaga eh. Iba yung, the way he delivers it, the timing of it, it's just something. It's really something.
Something you said earlier, Anjo, I think was kind of interesting in that you said that maybe it comes from his wrestling training, that helps with his timing, his improv, his reactions. I think to a point maybe, but we've seen lots of wrestlers who have tried to become actors and it doesn't always end up well.
There are just two of them who have this down pat, I believe, because they're both really successful in their acting careers. I think you know who I'm talking about, being The Rock, being the other wrestler, being this successful. But The Rock has done comedies, but it's just different when John Cena, the comedy that John Cena does is very different from the comedy that The Rock does.
Yeah. And The Rock is always in some sort of jungle for some reason.
Yeah.
I know. Why is that?
There's just
I don't know.
There's this thing that John Cena can do where he's not afraid to ridicule himself.
Yes, he commits exactly what Mai said. He will commit 150%.
Yeah, and The Rock will do it, but then it's just different. And on the level that John Cena does, it's just so different. Like it's so self-deprecating.
It is really self-deprecating to a point that it's not that he does. It's like he's okay with looking stupid, but I feel like for him, the stupider he looks, it just works for him even better. The stupider he is, or
the
whatever.
The dumber he is, the more charming he becomes.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
I agree. Oh my God. James Gunn writes and directs the first episode. He writes pretty much all of them moving forward. And right off the bat, exactly what Mai said, you see what kind of humor you're in for. If you remember that discussion he had with Bloodsport about a beach full of dicks in the Suicide Squad, this is going to be a lot of that, but somehow it's more grounded because of the people that he's surrounded with in this one.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? What did you guys think about his supporting players?
I love them. The banter was great. It's one of those moments where, you know how when you watch an Aaron Sorkin movie and for some reason everybody just talks really smart and really fast? In this case, like everybody's so fucking sarcastic and witty, but it's okay. It like totally works because like all the punchlines and all the lines they throw at each other, it's also just so fast, and you really got to keep up with whatever they're throwing at each other, whether it's insults, sarcasm, or like some completely out of the box or random comment which will just make you like, huh?
What I like about the supporting cast also, or the cast of characters in general, is that they're all supposed to be highly capable, highly intelligent, secret agents. They're supposed to be like some government agents who are doing black ops. They're supposedly a very dangerous unit, yet they're so petty.
Yes, petty.
They're so petty and dysfunctional.
Yes, absolutely.
And that alone is worth watching. How they interact with each other, not even with Peacemaker, but with each other. It's already comedy gold. Because you have the cast, like Danielle Brooks, who played Tasty in Orange is the New Black. She's amazing in this show.
Yes.
She's really
She's
funny.
so likable here.
Leota,
She is. She's so charismatic, and it's so different from her role in Orange is the New Black.
Yes. And she adds this level of naivete to the characters.
Yes.
Like everybody's like all so dark and jaded, but she's always the one thinking she's always the one who's looking at the bright side of things. Like, oh no, maybe he's a good guy. Maybe this will work out. She is like the ray of sunshine over there, like a really awkward ray of sunshine, but still.
Honestly, I would not have chosen her to be the rookie agent, but in this case, she just does a really good job. And especially as someone who's trying to balance her responsibilities also as a wife and a mom of fur babies. The fur babies. But, she finds herself drawn into this crazy, hyper-violent world with,
emphasis on hyper-violent
killers and blood and guts and all that. And she takes to it very well.
And the most relatable thing, she did it because her mom told her so.
It's quite interesting how well-adjusted she is, considering she's a rookie.
I laughed when they said that she was just supposed to be a temp. It was only supposed to be for like 2-3 months.
No, she got deep into it.
Other than Danielle Brooks, the one surprise for me was Freddie Stroma. Freddie Stroma,
yes.
Freddie Stroma, otherwise known as Adrian Chase, otherwise known as Vigilante. I did not expect this from him. Like, if you guys don't remember who Freddie Stroma was, he was Cormac McLagan from the 6th Harry Potter movie. The one who was macking on Hermione Granger.
That bastard.
Yeah, that douche Gryffindor student. Yeah, that was Cormac McLagan. And then you see him here, it's like, what the hell?
Here he's just this awkward, gangly psychopath.
But he was lovable. He's lovable.
Yes, he is. And he is completely unhinged. He does crazy eyes so well. But at the same time, you're not like scared of the crazy eyes. You laugh at it. Maybe be a little bit scared, but still laugh afterwards.
Totally, and you kind of want to see more of it.
Yeah.
Or is that just me?
And how absolutely attached he is to Peacemaker, and how he follows him around like a little puppy dog. Like, we're best friends.
He's like the kid brother who wants to hang out with his kuya.
He absolutely is. And let's not forget Jennifer Holland, who is also in this. She was she had a bit part. Jennifer Holland and Steve Agee. They were employees of Amanda Waller, the founder of the Suicide Squad. And because they were among those who betrayed her at the end of that movie, they got punished by babysitting Peacemaker in this one.
Pretty good punishment, if you ask me. It's like, oh shit, we gotta babysit this.
If you were them, though, would that be okay? So that's a very different frame of thinking.
Well, I'm sure you would want to hang out with John Cena any given occasion, but
of course Anjo would. Because like John Cena spent the entire first episode in his underwear.
Not when he's this crazy racist psycho killer guy.
He's not a racist. His dad is the racist.
He's just a misguided puppy dog who can kill people.
And like he just genuinely doesn't know how offensive whatever he's saying is. He's like, hey, sweet cheeks.
He has no idea.
Like the women are like, what? It's not offensive.
Oh my
it's
God.
Not offensive. It's a compliment. Okay, bro. Let's not get to sugar tits.
Not at all. No. But then there's somebody who's even more offensive than the whole lot of them combined, and that is Robert Patrick, who plays Peacemaker's father in this one.
Oh, God.
And Robert Patrick, of course, we know him as the bad guy in Terminator 2.
T-1000.
Mm-hmm. He's still creepy, except now he looks like he's melting. The liquid metal is melting on him.
You know, like,
That's accurate though. It's
he's old
he does
and
look like
scary.
he's
It's like his eyes get smaller and his cheeks get lower as the years go by.
Well, I guess it works for here because he's fucking scary. Like
Yes,
I
he
would
is.
not want to have a father like that.
No,
So,
no.
Like you completely understand, like not even getting into the story that much, but now you understand why Peacemaker has these issues of wanting to put up this macho douchebag front
Yes.
because he has daddy issues. Ta-da!
Absolutely. I mean, like everybody else in the Suicide Squad who had daddy issues.
like Bloodsport, where his
Oh my
dad
God.
trapped him in a room with hungry rats.
I'll go for
Or
him.
Ratcatcher 2, who her dad, died because he
Taika
was Taika Waititi.
That makes no sense.
Let's talk about the first episode because I really enjoyed how it established that John Cena was still the same douchebag, but it added more layers by showing us how he would work in, let's face it, the semi-real world. Because in the Suicide Squad movie, they were men on a mission. They were out of their element. They were all fish out of water. But now we're seeing him on the streets of small town America. And he's making no effort to blend in whatsoever.
Nope.
I think John Cena as a character in Peacemaker, or Peacemaker as a character, is just generally a fish out of water anywhere he goes.
I love it. He's the guy who will murder as many men, women, and children
for
as it will
peace.
take to achieve peace.
What a tagline.
Yeah, twisted. Well, the pilot is actually my favorite episode of what we were able to watch because it really set the tone so perfectly. The humor is there, the events unfold, and you also get a little glimpse of whatever issues he has, which will be unveiled later on. So even down to we all know that he's an eccentric, dense douchebag. But what I love most about how this actually gives you a big zoom in on his character. And like we said, he has daddy issues. And you can see from just the first episode that he's constantly seeking his father's approval, which totally explains why he's the way he is. Like we totally would have accepted it if he is a deluded asswipe just because he embodies it so well. But the added extra layer to it was the cherry on top for me.
I agreed. It's like I mentioned earlier, I can't believe I'm using the word character study for Peacemaker, but it essentially is, because I totally agree with you that watching each and every episode is like peeling layers of an onion. And the first episode, the pilot alone, just kind of piqued my interest. Like, what made this guy so fucked up, and why is he like this? Why does he constantly want approval from he just constantly was trying to feel like he wanted to be accepted by whatever group he belonged, or he was with, or he was running with.
Yeah.
It's just quite fascinating, and it's quite, I like the contrast with the character of somebody who's blood soaked and violent yet innocent in a certain way. I like that whole contradiction with the character of Peacemaker, and it's interesting how he deals with people around him and them trying to teach him what's appropriate, what's not, how the real world works, and he's kind of like immune to it.
Actually, that's something
dense. He's so fucking dense.
That is something actually that I really enjoyed, honestly. As the different characters tried to soften him up. I mean, they weren't trying to change who he was. They were just trying to make him see that maybe there's a better way. They weren't dismissing him right off the bat. They could have been so much meaner, is what I'm saying, but they were all so nice to him. Kind of. Even what's her face? Even Jennifer Holland, who was playing. Yeah, she was the tough one, right?
Mm-hmm.
She blew him off the first time, but later on, even she softens up. She's the one who made their group chat.
That was so adorable. Can I just say?
She made a WhatsApp group for them.
It's like something that it's a very current way of saying that we have something in common, that we have a bond.
Yes, Hanoi Rock, but. Yes. And speaking of, stuff like Hanoi Rock, I mean, honestly, there are the entire soundtrack. If you've seen any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies by James Gunn, you know this man knows how to pick a soundtrack. And
Yeah, he
with
does.
Peacemaker, he has a very specific genre.
80s hair band. 80s arena hair metal.
I know. It's like glam.
It's like, sorry, never mind. Wala akong na-contribute doon. It's like,
No, I mean, like, there's like a bit where, he's trying to get hardcore to choose what they're going to be listening to in the car. And she looks at the album cover. She's like, are those supposed to be men?
Hair metal, guys. Come on. The era spoke for itself.
and it
Speaks
just
for
gives
itself.
it gives the scenes so much energy in a way that you don't really hear that kind of musical scoring in a lot of movies these days anymore. You have the traditional instrumentals or whatever, or maybe a pop song or two, but this is cherry on top. It just fits the character so well. It gives her just the right amount of energy, and if you know the song 10 out of 10 times you're gonna sing along.
Yep. I mean, like it's high energy, high impact, crash cymbals and guitar and distorted guitar riffs and guitar solos. You know what? It's not subtle and it totally fits Peacemaker.
As in, ang ingay. If there's a way to describe, ang ingay talaga nung soundtrack niya, but
Pero
it just
masaya.
works.
But it
works
masaya.
so well. It just perfectly encapsulates how absolutely chaotic this show is and the main character.
In fact, James Gunn actually posted a playlist on Spotify dedicated to Peacemaker. Initially, it only had 3 tracks, and then he was going to be adding to it as each episode is dropped. But I don't think he could wait. He just dropped everything already. There's 17 tracks in there at this point.
Na-excite siya eh.
I feel like
And
let's
it's
just
just
give
totally
it
worth
to the
it.
fans.
Absolutely.
He should be proud of all of those music choices because they were great. Like if there's something you can't keep to yourself, then just like share it with the world because it was brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Something I appreciated about this was that if you watch Suicide Squad, you'll notice that for a lot of the film that John Cena is competing with Idris Elba to be alpha male of the team, right?
It's one of the best parts of that movie.
I mean, like dicks on the beach pa lang. You knew. You
Or
knew
even
what.
just like the crash gestures to each other, like the jack off hands and like throwing the thing at Idris
Right.
Elba.
But in this movie, because he is supposed to be the most experienced, the most ruthless, he's supposed to be the badassest badass. He's the one who's always charging in first and trying to be the hero. It doesn't always end well for him, honestly.
Nope.
Especially in that first episode where he picks up a girl at the bar. He picks up a girl at the bar.
Wait. You have to describe the hairstyle of the girl.
Oh my God, she looked like David Spade and Joe Dirt. That's what she looked
Oh
like.
my God.
Or
you could just say Joe Exotic.
Oh my God, she just looked like straight up trailer trash. I'm sorry, there's no other word for it. There's no other word.
That's what they're going for.
But that's exactly what he said. Somebody says it. He's been in prison for 4 years. He'll do anything at this point. So, and he did. He was screaming freedom. He was really going for it.
Oh my God.
And one thing leads to another. Next thing we know, that girl from the bar is trying to murder him. And it is glorious.
It is absolutely glorious. Before the whole murder thing comes up, of course, they sleep together, have wild, crazy sex to 80s music probably in the background.
Freedom!
And
Wild and loud,
Wild.
crazy sex.
Yep.
Mhm.
And afterwards, when the chick's brushing her teeth, he proceeds to put on a vinyl track. One of her awesome, at least a good thing about this girl is that she has good taste in music, at least the same taste in music as him.
He put
Even
on
to
a
the point
choir
that
voice.
And to the point that he ends up stealing a lot of her music while trying to get away.
He wasted so much time choosing records.
Exactly. And he
And cassette
dances to
tapes.
this. He dances to this 80s rock in his underwear. As Idris Elba put it in the Suicide Squad, your tiny whiteys.
To be fair, she also was trying to kill him in her underwear. So they were quits.
Yeah, they were quits, but that was like so glorious.
That's-
Violent.
That
and
scene was just nuts. Like it was
so
one
much
of the most
skin.
and so much skin. Yes, it was probably one of the most violent things I've ever seen on a TV show. it was also one of the most hilarious things because you see this tiny lady throwing this huge dude around. It's like,
Or when at some point a vibrator is used as a weapon.
But before that, he was using it as a microphone to sing along to the choir boys.
I was watching.
I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? Wait, I know what that is. What the fuck?
It's a massager, a personal massager.
Yeah, but most of the time, those things massage something very personal.
Don't
Hence,
judge.
personal massager.
No kink shaming. You know, personal has many
kink
definitions.
I mean, you're trying to survive too. No survival shaming. Use anything as a weapon. You know, like
the funny
vibrator,
thing is-
bam, bam.
You know, the funny thing is,
I wonder
John
what setting
Cena-
what it was on.
Hi, blunt force trauma.
But in Peacemaker, he has no superpowers other than this utter and complete belief in himself and the fact that he's built like John Cena. Those are his only superpowers.
Mhm.
And
That's how.
but I think one of my favorite bits from the first episode was just seeing him jump from one balcony to the next and failing,
yeah.
absolutely
Okay.
failing all the way. You know, you're used to seeing superheroes
I
jumping and, you know, defying gravity or being acrobats. And
You know-
Peacemaker is absolutely not graceful.
the whole superhero landing thing. Not happening.
Nope,
Nope,
not here.
nope, not at all.
Not here.
Talking about that scene, that made my body physically hurt watching that scene.
Every
Like the whole time, I felt it in my bones. I felt the impact in my bones.
So like he
And you know how when they cut to the other characters seeing this
This
happen,
idiot.
yeah, it's like you cut to Harcourt and Leota seeing how he so ungracefully falls on each floor, on each balcony, and their reactions, those are literally your reactions too. Because most of the time when that happens in a movie, you're like, but here you are with
No.
them and being like,
This has been one of the most painful things I've seen. It is even more painful than he was being stabbed by the chick.
That's
earlier.
true. Being stabbed, we accept that kind of thing. Because, you know, you can't control being stabbed. Somebody's trying to kill you. But you can control the way you land when you jump off a balcony. And he does not know how to jump off a balcony. But the thing is,
stupid.
this idiot is Johnny Bravo. That's who he is. That's who Peacemaker is. He's Johnny
That's
Bravo.
That's
He thinks he's hot shit, but he doesn't know he's a dork. So he kept getting up and jumping to the next balcony and getting hurt every single time. It was amazing.
Dork.
It was perfect because I remember John Cena describing him as a promotion for the Suicide Squad as a douchebag Captain America, and it's true.
He has a pet eagle named Eagly.
Eagly!
Eagly is the
I would say he
best.
steals the show.
The
I
damn
fucking
thing is-
love Eagly.
I love Eagly. It's so stupid.
You have an eagle named Eagly. You have a dog
You have a
named
dog named
Doggy.
Doggy. Or wait. Do you have a daughter named Dottery?
But he's so cute though. Like,
Mhm. It's like a puppy. He's like a dog. Who
but
just wants
with
to
a
make
beak.
his master feel better.
I know, and he hugs him. He hugs Peacemaker, and he's like, Dad, he's hugging me. Oh my god, take a picture.
His dad just walks away in disapproval.
Okay. We have been seeing a lot of superhero shows over the last, I'm even going to say like 5 years at this point. You know, we've had on the DC side, you've got Flash, you've got Supergirl, you've got Arrow, and all the others. On the Marvel side, they just started up their MCU proper with WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. We just finished Hawkeye. Where do you think this one stacks? What makes it stand out? Because we've seen so many of these shows. What makes this one different?
It's
The
my
fact that
fucking favorite.
The fact that it's the dumbest shit ever, and James Gunn overindulged himself making this show, but it's still amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we say it's so stupid because it's stupid fun, but actually, I'm sure it takes a lot of brains
Oh,
to
yeah.
really write
yeah.
how
Oh,
how
definitely.
sharp this script is. Like the characters and their situations are fucking stupid, but it's actually genius how this is written. And this is
Totally
probably
agree.
the most violent one out of all of the shows you've mentioned. One of the most. with blood and gore wise, but just the sheer profanity and how the humor is not afraid to like go places. It makes woke, quote unquote, woke jokes, or it makes fun of like anything that might be considered like touchy without being offensive. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
They have a lot of jokes where it's probably poking fun at something that not really poking. Wait, let me repeat that.
Addressing maybe.
Yeah, they make jokes out of topics that are usually skirted over or tiptoed over, like probably like racism, sexism, like many of those things that you probably would want to approach with caution, but just like makes a killer punchline. So a lot of shows don't have the I don't want to say balls because I want to go for like they don't have the guts to actually go there humor wise.
Or maybe it's James Gunn's writing because understanding James Gunn's work, he kind of has this thing for subverting certain genres or certain, like the superhero genres. He did Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the most dysfunctional teams in the MCU, or probably the most dysfunctional team in the MCU. And then he proceeds to make the Suicide Squad, another bumbling and dysfunctional team, yet they're somehow a family. And then Peacemaker. And it just, it just shatters all expectations as to what a superhero should be like. You have a douchebag, stupid, dense, unaware guy as your main hero or most lethal member, Johnny Bravo, as a superhero. And it's just his wit. And, I agree. Like, instead of skirting over these topics, he attacks it head on, talks about it straight, and just makes fun of it. And yet it's not offensive because of how the characters are so well written. And then props to the actors for also being able to bring it out of their characters.
Remember how I said earlier that the side characters that Peacemaker is working with, the agents that Peacemaker is working with to go on this big mission to save the world, how they have different levels of patience with him, but at the end of the day, they all want him to realize that he can be better, that there's a better way than the way he does things, and then the way he sees things. What I liked about Peacemaker here, because he's not in competition with Idris Elba, because let's face it, Idris Elba would make anybody insecure. Here,
he makes me feel different things, but not insecure.
Fair enough. Watch Cats.
Fair enough.
So what we have here is it adds another layer to him in that he doesn't shut them out immediately. He's not immediately dismissive. Just as they don't give up on him, he is not closed to their efforts to try and get through to him. And I like that. And that's why when Harcourt makes their WhatsApp group, you're happy for all these people. They are now friends.
Yeah, because it all started so turbulently. They were like insulting each other left and right.
It's just so dysfunctional.
But just that moment, it's just so satisfying when they finally, be friends and work as a team. Flowery words.
It was just hard to believe that they'd be successful as a team.
At the end of the day, blood and guts bring people together, and that brings me to something that I'd like to discuss with you guys. Enough. This had a lot of blood and guts.
Yes.
I think I haven't seen this much blood and guts on a TV show since Ash versus the Evil Dead, but that was on Stars, so they could do blood and guts up the wazoo.
Stars. And they did Spartacus.
And how else would you do Evil Dead on TV? But here, this is a mainstream superhero show
on HBO Go.
I know, and it was great. It was.
That's why
the amount. You even see like an uncensored vajayjay.
Yes.
At some point,
and there's boobs. There's boobs all over this thing because Peacemaker really will sleep with anything.
There was Game of Thrones, so boobs are a new thing for HBO shows.
But the last boobs you saw John Cena around were Amy Schumer's.
Oh God.
Oh. That's a good movie, though.
That was a good freaking movie. That was hilarious.
That was what actually made me think that John Cena was a great actor.
He was also playing airhead alpha male in that one.
Oh, he just plays it really well.
Closeted airhead alpha male. There you go.
But yeah, there are things here that we never would see in an actual DC movie, I think. And a lot of that we can attribute directly to James Gunn, because this guy started out working on B movies for Troma, where they just, they had nudity, they had blood, they had gore, they had like super B-level acting, and they knew how to make movies from scratch. And that's why I liked it when he brought that subversive sensibility to the mainstream. And now it looks like he's going to be doing it on TV as well.
Yay! Looking forward to it. And I think it's about time we kind of get that satisfyingly gory or crass content, especially if that's your kind of humor. Because you gotta admit, the Disney/Marvel releases have been pretty wholesome up to this point. So it really caters to people of this kind of humor. And I can see how polarizing it might be for people who actually prefer the more sanitized kind of humor. But, there's something for everybody. And this just... It's a great show for terrible people like us.
It's quite refreshing, like it's not family oriented.
No,
or is
not
it?
Watch this with the kids. Do not.
It's really not. It's really not family oriented. It's just quite
unless you wanted
to
to grow up to be awesome kids.
Yes,
sure. With the right parental guidance, sure.
There's just something about it that there's a certain charm. I just can't believe I'm associating this show with the word charm, but there is a charm to this show, and it's quite dark.
It is
something that happens on the lesser Marvel shows. I'm looking at you, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Something that happens with these
the only
shows,
lesser Marvel show.
No, but something that happens with them is they're so constrained, but what they can or can't do because of what the movies will be setting up. So they can only have these little adventures here. I did not get that sense from Peacemaker. I felt James Gunn was just throwing everything at the wall. He was not holding back. And I think that's what I appreciated about it, because I didn't need to know the last 25 Marvel movies to understand what was going on. I didn't need to consider where this thing fits in the bigger tapestry of the overall universe. I could just enjoy this for this. And I enjoyed it so much.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Even if you've never seen Suicide Squad, it's funny.
Yes, it's fine. And the stakes are actually pretty high. Because usually when you look at some big cinematic universe that started off as movies, and then when you zoom into the TV series, probably the stakes aren't as high as what happens in the overall story arc. But it's totally fine here, and you can actually feel the urgency of whatever mission they end up trying to fulfill. But it still feels like a big deal, and it's still explosive. It's still world shattering in a way, and how they get there is just ridiculous, but they get there. At least they get there. Probably not in one piece. Maybe with a really beat up car if it's a whole journey. But they get there. And it's the journey, not the destination, as they say.
It's just really funny because I'm not sure if I found the urgency of their situation, was because of them being a bumbling lot compared to how the Winter Soldier was. But I did feel the urgency in Peacemaker more than I did in the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Let's do the last part of the program. Let's talk a little bit about spoilers. If you come this far, we hope you guys check it out. But now we're going to talk about some specific plot points before we round this off. So I want to ask you guys, did you see where this thing was going when they first brought him on? We're talking about a series where they fought, 100-foot starfish. So when they hired him for this new job to go after butterflies, what were you thinking?
What the hell are butterflies?
I feel like at some point we were as clueless as Peacemaker was, because they did not explain to him what the mission is. They're just like, just tag along, do what we say, and that's it. And they always try to avoid explaining to him what he's really up against. And this actually frustrates him to the point that, he starts
questioning things.
Questioning
authority.
He doesn't trust them as much, which will make the unity at somewhere towards the end even more rewarding. But it's like, where the fuck is this going? What the fuck is a butterfly? What the fuck did this creepy one night stand chick? What is she?
What is she?
What the hell?
Why is she super strong? Why can't she throw a 6-foot dude who's like who's massive through walls?
And why can't she jump out of a building and not have a problem like this idiot?
Yeah, so it's like, where are we going with this? But the reveals per episode are actually just like enough to get you curious and invested because you don't know what the fuck is going on as well.
Yes.
Yep. It's just I think it's just very well written how they tease the audience and keep you guessing as to you're just engaged the entire time. Like I've been trying to binge it, but but I could. I've been trying to binge it, but because of my internet, I couldn't. But it's just really fun. It's just really fun trying to see Peacemaker deal with the stuff that are happening around him.
I thought trying to see Peacemaker with your internet.
That's one thing. Also,
that's not really fun.
I'm sorry.
That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
But it also has this well-written plot in a sense that there are multiple things that Peacemaker has to tackle. So there's this main mission, and also there's this little side quest of
side quest.
Side quest of how to deal with his dad. Because he got daddy issues, and for some reason, one of his stupid teammates decides to frame his freaking father into making Peacemaker get away with the murder of this crazy chick. I don't even it's so stupid how why do you frame his father when you can literally
think of anyone else?
Think of anyone else.
It's the tech guy who's like, I don't know, I was just lazy. I just put his dad.
It could literally have been anyone else, which John Cena eventually elaborates later on and gives so many interesting names. Amy Winehouse, BTS.
Oh, God.
Anybody, literally anybody. So they also have to deal with his super racist, psycho, evil villain dad. And he tackles his issues within himself and his upbringing to finally be able to be at peace with himself, his friends, and on to whatever big mission with giant butterflies and creepy little creatures.
What else was good about this show is that much of the spotlight was on Peacemaker, but then everybody else has a story arc that eventually culminates in a good conclusion for them via the group chat. But it's quite interesting how they all kind of grow in a way to accept him or kind of form a relationship with a guy you wouldn't think you'd have a relationship with, being that he's a dick. But then maybe except if you're vigilante, maybe you're just really
you're just there.
You're just there. You're just a huge fan of Peacemaker. But, but it's just interesting.
The show does the usual superhero thing of putting post-credit scenes, but unlike the ones that you're probably used to in Marvel movies or even in some of the DCEU entries, they're not necessarily teasing what's coming up. The post-credits scenes here are extensions of existing scenes. So if you want to see John Cena just rant even more names about other possible people that his friend could have framed, please stay for the end credits. It's always worth it, I swear.
Every episode has one.
Mm-hmm. Our friends at Warner Brothers TV sent us over the first 7 episodes of an 8-episode first season. I don't know where this is going. What are you guys hoping that we'll get out of that season finale?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't know really quite what to expect, but I know I'm just gonna have fun with it. Because that's what pretty much the whole show was for me. It's I don't know what to expect with every episode. It's just okay, it's balls out, balls to the wall fun. So that's what I'm expecting. I don't really want to say much. I don't really want to try to explain anything. It's just I'm just expecting to have fun with this.
For me, as long as you have a whole lot of violence, which I was very satisfied with throughout the show, as long as we have awesome rock music to go with whatever climactic ending that it's gonna have.
Hell yeah.
give me witty banter, like some back and forth, maybe some insults thrown at each other
Dark
in
humor.
a lovingly gago way with his fellow castmates, I'd be satisfied. And even just seeing that opening credits scene, I'm already satisfied. Because like it
love
can't
that.
get any better than that. Just like watching the opening scene, you know what kind of ride you're in for. You're doing this choreography with your deadpan face, and that just like opens it up and just satisfies me. But literally anything that could happen, even if it's like a really stupid ending, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna find a way to make it fun.
I agree with all of your points, and I'm also going to add in that something that I'm hoping to see moving forward, because I love that James Gunn did not shy away from this being a DC superhero movie. He firmly put it in the DC universe. You have name drops from everybody from Batman to Kite Man to Matter Eater Lad, and even Batmite. I mean, the stupidest things. And because they're not trying to set up a future movie or a future storyline, they don't give a shit. They just throw out these references with all sorts of irreverence, and it works. So I want to see what kind of big, crazy DC twist they're going to pull off. I'm sure it's going to be bloody, it's going to be gory, and I'm sure it's going to be freaking hilarious.
I just remembered his line about Aquaman.
Sorry. It's like Aquaman fucks fish.
No, he doesn't fuck
it's
fish.
Okay. Like, I fucks women, fucks men. I'm all for that. But if he fucks fish, oh man, that's a different level.
And like he got this from some rando on Twitter.
Oh my!
So you tell me this random Twitter user is lying to me? Why would he lie to me?
God damn, I like that John Cena's such an idiot. What? Are you saying you're smarter than Google? Or like, why would Facebook just lie to us every day?
It's just been such an amazing ride that they're I don't know. It's just gonna be so hard to disappoint us at this point.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyways, I cannot wait for the finale. I'm hoping this thing drops on January 13th on HBO Go, that we're going to get the whole season in one shot, because it's going to be hell if we have to wait 8 weeks to see the ending of this.
Oh my goodness. So it's definitely something you can, if ever the drops will be weekly, it's just gonna keep you hooked. It's like one of those shows that you're really gonna wanna watch week per week per week. It's just that damn good. So if you can binge it, if they drop multiple episodes, then great. But it's definitely gonna be worth the weekly wait if ever it's like one off.
It's gonna be torture waiting though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
as dark as the humor is, it's just a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, you could just listen to the Spotify playlist James Gunn put out while you're waiting.
It's such a good playlist. Oh my god, when you're driving fast.
Oh, road rage.
Okay, and I think that is an episode. For anybody who needs a little background or a little reminder of Peacemaker, please check out our episode on the Suicide Squad. It's also on this Spotify channel. Please let us know in the comments what you think of the Peacemaker TV show. We are the Sub-Auteurs. You can find us on social media. We are on Facebook. Sub-Auteurs. We like movies. Join the group. We are also at sub_auteurs on Instagram.
Oh, man, that's the only lines I know.
I'm never ever gonna look at Cheetos flaming hot the same way ever again.
Or, 4 foot tall Vietnamese boys. But anyways.
Or my pinky toe.
Oh my god, the pinky toe. Oh my god.
Watch the show, guys.
Warner Brothers TV, we love you. Thank you so much for giving us an exclusive first look at Peacemaker.
Thank you.
We really want to see the finale already, so come on, help us out here.
Please.
Until then, we are your hosts, the Sub-Auteurs. I am Misha.
I'm Mai.
I'm Anjo.
We'll see you next time. God damn, this show is such a ride.